Welcome to our pre-election edition of This Week in Missouri Politics. It's like Christmas Eve here. Jack Cardetti, the Prince of Phelps County, thank you for making the time.
Just honored to be part of this panel.
Television's own Emily Manley, which is the honorable person on the panel. Thank you for making the time.
Oh, that's scary. Thank you.
Jetton, former Speaker of the House, welcome back to the show, sir.
Can't even believe I'm here.
And David Steelman, one of my best friends in politics. Sometimes we see things almost too much alike, it gets boring. But I want to know, tell me how you see Amendment 3 going.
I think Amendment 3 is going to pass, but I got to say something first. I got to interject this. Cardetti is there in a blue suit and an expensive tie. That's what I wore 10 years ago when the Republican Party was the party of the blue suits. Now I got my Rolling Stone T-shirt, and Republicans are rocking and rolling.
Sympathy for the devil, baby.
That's right. That's right.
So what happens with Amendment 3?
I think Amendment 3 passes. It's another example of where I think the public does not like extremes. We have an extreme law in Missouri. Amendment 3 is going to pass mainly as a result of that extreme law, but we've all talked about it. I don't see it really making a huge difference in races.
I mean, Jack Cardetti, let's say this passes, right? I think you're going to hear the pro-life people saying, I can't get no satisfaction. They'll be back in 2 years, right?
Yeah, but some of those same interest groups are the reason they're in this position right now, right? If Missouri hadn't had a complete and total ban, this would have been, I think, a much, much more competitive ballot initiative. But the fact that there's a total ban and the message is so easy, let's overturn that total ban, really makes Amendment 3 on the path to victory here.
There was a chance for Republicans to come up with some middle-of-the-road compromise. There's just no compromise off this particular position currently in the Missouri Republican Party.
No, there's really not. You have two big sides difference. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is you have the Democrats that are saying you can't just ban completely. We have to talk about rape, incest, and not only that, but these doctors don't know what the difference is when the life of the mother is in danger. You hear that all the time. It doesn't matter what hospital you talk to. They're worried about being sued. And so then you have the Republican side saying, oh, it's in law. Doctors should have no problem. Correct. Doctors should have no problem whatsoever knowing the difference. And so I think that, because of how Amendment 3 is on the ballot, that it will pass.
Rod, I think just my white trash intuition. The current law is a little further out than where your average Missourian is. But I bet you when all's said and done, when you people actually see the new policy, it's probably a little bit pro-choice than where Missourians are.
Oh, yeah. I mean, clearly you have both extremes. You got the pro-choicers that wrote an initiative that went way further than the average voter or what the most popular vote would be. You got the pro-lifers that wouldn't budge, so they wanted the complete ban. So most of the voters are somewhere in the middle. Nobody really likes abortion that much. But, for rape, incest, life of the mother, we should, have some exception for that. And so either side can give, especially when you're spending the kind of money you spend on getting a ballot initiative part. But what'll happen, this probably passes. Not as big as what people think.
Yeah.
Probably a little tighter than what people expect. You'll come back. The legislature will probably put another one on the board with Keogh leading the charge. It'll probably be more reasonable. It'll probably have those exceptions. It'll probably be what the majority of Missourians would actually want it to be. And then it'll probably settle.
You're saying the Missouri Republicans do the right thing after they've tried all of their options.
I think that's just like Winston Churchill said.
Well, I want to say something, though, that nobody talks about. Donald Trump is the leader of this currently reconstituted party. Now, does this party alignment happen when he's gone? I don't know. But under this current alignment, which we'll call the T-shirt party, Donald Trump is not pro-life, according to the pro-lifers. I mean, Donald Trump was anti-Roe versus Wade, but he is not pro-life. So you're saying the Republican Party is going to do something, but can they come to grips with what the new voter
Donald Trump
is?
could not secure the endorsement of the Missouri Right to Life if he ran for governor of Missouri.
Well, he's made it very clear. He's for rape, incest, and he's for a time ban.
Which is exactly where Ronald Reagan was for years, and everybody loved him. And I think that's where it's all going to probably settle back in at.
Jack Cardetti, though, if this fails, the Republican Party is simply an interest group that's for pro-lifers, and that's what they are now. I mean, if this happens, if they defeat Amendment 3, there's no end to the power of Missouri Right to Life.
Yeah, but it'll also keep the political issue alive, which is not something the Republican Party actually wants to happen.
Well, the political issue is going to be alive whether it passes or not. I mean, I've already seen some tweets from the pro-life purists. It's going to be alive.
I want to talk about if it passes, what we see happen the day after. What happens when it comes to law and order? Is there going to be bunches of lawsuits filed? I think that's something, especially because, and something we were talking about right before, all the different angles that this amendment is taking. Does it affect the transgender community? Does it affect the LGBTQ community? Or is it really just about allowing abortion to once again be legal in the state of Missouri. I think that if it passes, we do see a line of lawsuits expected to be filed the day after.
Left it up to the states. It's going to be a little messy, right? Jack, does it pass and by what's the margin?
It passes. It passes by high single digits, but it will not dramatically change the electorate on election day. And I think that's the one thing that everybody's interested in, right?
Give me a number now. Come on, we'll get a prediction out of you.
54.
54. What do you think?
Ooh, I think that this is the one that we're going to be waiting after midnight. It could be 4 a.m. the next day to get an answer. I really do think that this is going to be, between this and the presidential race nationwide, I really do think it's going to be that close. I'm talking maybe 2, 3, 4 points.
Any election where they're still counting votes after midnight, I like the Democrats' chances in Missouri. Where do you think this will be?
I'm with Emily. I think a 51, 52 is more like what we're going to see here. Yeah. Amazing with the little money that the other side's had.
I don't want to be a copycat, so I'm going to say 50.5.
I think I'm going to go with Jack. I think it's close, and it's closing. I just think there's a lot of Republicans that consider themselves pro-life, that vote for candidates in part because they're pro-life, that are going to vote for this. Rod Jetton, you've helped elect many, many Republicans. They all come and say, I'm for liberty and freedom, da-da-da-da. But it feels like it's possible. They're only for the liberties and freedoms they want you to have. They have the government to block everything else. Why can't I bet on the Chiefs?
Well, I mean, come on. We all know everybody's got their self-interest. One man's liberties, another man's, tyranny. So yeah, where that line draws, you can very easily nowadays, especially in the Republican Party, it's easy to come out and be for a lot more libertarian type. Our party's gone a little more libertarian, and that's kind of helped on issues like this gaming.
Jack Cardetti, I think the party that's led by a former casino owner would be for sports betting, right?
Well, a new report out just this week, since the very start of the NFL season, just 7 weeks, 11.1 million sports bets were attempted in the state of Missouri, but were failed by Missourians. That's the magnitude of the lost opportunity we have here. 38 states have figured this out. Missouri hasn't. I think that's why you're going to see Amendment 2 pass next week.
You've had a fight. You've had seniors come in. What, $9-10 million?
Absolutely. No, this has been.
I've never seen anybody be able to get a yes with that kind of money stacked against it.
Yeah, but this is such a common sense thing to Missouri. Whether or not you plan to participate in sports betting or not, you understand that 7 of our 8 neighboring states have it. Every single day, Missourians are traveling to Kansas or to Illinois to place bets, and that's not the Missouri way.
Emily, I went on my F-150 tour to the bar on State Line Road, the Kansas side, that has a full brunch for Missouri gamblers to come over and place their bet, have a margarita or whatever, eat some bacon and eggs, and head back over. It does seem the government is almost ridiculous telling you can't do this.
Oh, I don't disagree whatsoever. I was here at a local establishment in Jefferson City just last week, and the bartender was asking me about sports betting, and he goes, oh, I place bets all the time. And I said, wait, how do you do that? And he goes, oh, I go offshore all the time. And I said, doesn't that make you nervous? And he goes, well, I live in the middle of the state. I can't just drive to St. Louis or, Illinois or Kansas. So I'm just going to do it here in the middle of the state. So we are losing out on that money. And I will give props to you, Jack, and your campaign for the education side. The education side of it is why you hear so many Missourians. And I don't think that this is a red or a blue issue. I really don't. I think that this is kind of something that wherever you fall on party lines, you're either in favor of it or you're not. But the education side of it, it really kind of sparks more interest because they see that it's going to increase education funding.
I don't think anybody cares where the money goes.
I think
they believe you.
I think it passes because all my buddies are out there betting. I mean, let's be honest. It is up and down Main Street. It's up and down Main Street in Phelps County. Gambling, whether you like it or don't like it, call it whatever you want, is a part of the American fabric now, and it's going to be part of the Missouri fabric after.
Does it pass?
The election?
Did it pass?
Yeah, I think that's going to be closer to the Amendment 2.
I think that and Jack would know you more, but I think the thing that hurts it, I think the liberty aspect and Republicans not being as much anti-gaming probably helps it pass. I think maybe what hurts it the most is the whole where the money goes, because I don't think it's not this ballot initiative's fault, but all the times before. The perception with voters are that money never goes to education, never goes to education. And when you look at the $750 million that we bring in now through casinos and the lottery, we got a $10.1 billion education budget. You could add $150 million to education, and it wouldn't really. I mean,
sure, but again,
so much.
Republican legislature, very bipartisan last year, upped average teacher pay here in the state of Missouri, starting teacher pay from $25,000 now to $40,000, which is great, but it's not funded. They have to have the money, right? This is a brand new funding stream to fund things like that.
But let's talk about the underground that's out there, too, because I had a prominent Republican from Southwest Missouri who will go unnamed say, well, I didn't vote for Amendment 2 because I don't want the public schools to get any more money. They waste what they have.
You can out Elijah of Arts.
But that is, I hadn't even thought about that, but there is some of that.
Well, does it pass?
I think it does. I think that Missourians are tired of it. You know, even if you, as a reporter that has constantly tweeted about Moleg for the past 5 years, anytime that I put anything on Instagram or Twitter about it coming up in a committee hearing, coming up on the floor, or just you guys putting it on the ballot, it gets crazy, crazy, crazy views, and people love it. So I do think that it passes.
You gonna win?
It's going to pass by about 5 points.
It's be one of the better ones of your career because of the opposition if you get this passed.
Well, I mean, I would. Let's be honest. Ozzie Smith being out there on commercials.
Hey, he won the week last week. Ozzie Smith, you had me at Ozzie.
Now we have Tony Gonzalez on the air, so we have the western side.
So this governor's race, it's a little bit boring. It's kind of odd we're talking about it third. I think Kehoe wins. My question to you is, so Nicole Galloway got 40% 4 years ago. Does Crystal Quaid improve on that?
I think because of Amendment 3 on the ballot, she barely clears 40%. That's what I think.
And if she does, is she not the presumptive nominee for state senate in Springfield?
Well, unless we've been talking about this, maybe the Democrats are going to get Jack Danforth to run. So
he would be the senator Springfield deserves. So what do you think? I mean, obviously, I think Kehoe's in as good a spot as you could possibly be in 2 days out from the election. But does Crystal do better? Does she improve the party from 4 years ago?
Well, it was 57-41 back then. And when you asked this earlier in the year, I didn't think she could. With Kehoe's just such amazing. But you know, he's throttled down quite a bit. The abortion thing helps a little bit. I didn't think she could, but I think she now might beat Nicole Galloway just by a smidge.
And if she does, you have to say this was a success.
Well, I don't think it matters whether she does or doesn't as far as her being a Senate, a top Senate nominee down there. I mean, she's going to have the resources unbelievably well. So I don't think it's whether she gets 39 or 45, she's going to be a rock star in that race.
She has competently led a caucus that when she inherited it was just ridiculously unfunctional. And I think she's done a good job being the statewide carrying the torch. But, she didn't have the money. But I still kind of think she gets maybe a little bit more than Galloway.
I agree. And there's two things on the ballot that I think help her. Amendment 3, and not only that, but this presidential race. I really do think that helps her because I think we're going to see more people come out because of what is going on nationally. We have more voters than we've ever seen that are doing this no absentee voting. And I think it's because people don't want to sit or stand in line on election day for hours on end. And it's because now we see more people than ever want to voice their opinion. And because of it, I think that Crystal Quaid does do 2%,
sure,
if that much, better than Nicole Galloway.
What happens?
I do think it's important to take a step back. In so many races, we see, and we hear it all the time from voters saying, there's two bad choices out there, right? I don't like either of these candidates. I don't like either of the presidential candidates. You heard that way. These are two good candidates.
They are.
These would be two people that would do a really good job being Missouri governor. I don't think she wins. She outperforms Nicole Galloway.
Awesome. Well, we're going to take a break and come back. We're going to talk about Donald J. Trump after this.
For more than a century, the St. Louis Carpenters Union has shaped our communities. Through trusted alliances, we deliver skilled professional craftspeople while our business partners provide the kind of quality jobs that keep our economy humming. It's a blueprint that has worked since 1882. Turning Missouri into a right-to-work state stalls progress, wipes out jobs, and kills momentum. Right to work is wrong for everyone. Let's keep Missouri moving forward. Visit carpdc.org to learn more.
On September 22nd at 8:30 a.m., an illegal immigrant with a rap sheet hit and killed a St. Louis police officer while driving drunk. The problem? Radicals like Crystal Quaid. Quaid supports open borders that allow criminals into Missouri and a plan that allows violent offenders to get out of jail right after arrest by relaxing cash bail. How many crimes? How many deaths? Before Crystal Quaid realizes she's wrong on crime and wrong on the border. Paid for by American Dream Pack.
I've been teaching for 22 years. I'm also the mom of a 9th and 6th grader. Education is really important to me, and that's why I'm voting for Amendment 2. By legalizing sports betting, Amendment 2 will generate more than $100 million for our schools over the next 5 years. Amendment 2 will help pay excellent teachers more, and it will improve our schools. Take it from this classroom teacher. Amendment 2 is the right thing to do.
We have 2 beautiful boys, but along the way, we had 3 miscarriages. I'll never forget the day the ultrasound tech just left the room. There was a complication. An abortion was the right decision for us, a private medical decision. Missouri's abortion ban is terrifying. There are no exceptions, and doctors can't provide care to women miscarrying. Vote yes on Amendment 3 because these decisions belong to us, not politicians.
You know, Missouri farmers have been doing what's best for their land for generations. After all, no one knows what it takes to feed and fuel a growing global population better than they do. So why are trial lawyers threatening Missouri farmers' best defense against weeds? Our farmers don't need to be controlled. They need to be supported. Keep glyphosate in our state. Show your support at TakeControlMissouri.com. Paid for by Modern Ag Alliance in support of Missouri farmers.
Data captured by our state-of-the-art monitors helps us pinpoint the timing and location of severe weather more accurately and respond to trouble more quickly. Ameren Missouri's investment in smart technologies like this is one way we're improving reliability and restoring power faster than ever. Responding to trouble before trouble hits. That's energy at work. Ameren, Missouri.
Welcome back to pre-election, the Christmas Eve edition of This Week in Missouri Politics. We have kept our illustrious panel around. Rod, Jetton, let's talk about some of these Senate races. You got a hot Senate race at Independence, Robbie Sauls and Joe Nicola. It just feels like the northeastern, I should say, Jackson County is becoming Republican.
It blows my mind. And when you think back to the history of that area and all the Democrats, good conservative guys you could work with, it's amazing to see what the Trump effect has been on independents in that area. And so I'm surprised that it's as hot as it is. You normally would have just chalked that up. That's a Democrat seat, leave it alone. Evidently, it's in the crosshairs right now. It could go either way.
It has been interesting, Davis. Did you ever think the Senate seat of Ronnie DePasco, Victor Callahan, LaVotas, Rizzo, on election day would start off with more Republicans registered or planning to vote than Democrats?
No, but again, you got to talk about Donald Trump and the realignment of the party. Does the realignment go past Trump? We'll all find out. But right now, the Republican Party is the party. It's the Jay Nixon Democrats. It's the Warren Hearns Democrats. I mean, it is the party of the working man and woman, and those are working people districts.
Are these people folks that will come in and vote for Trump and leave? I don't know that they're Republicans. I think they're Trump supporters. Whether they become Republicans yet to be seen. Do they keep voting or do they vote?
Well, I think they keep voting because it's different. Trump is no longer just a Trump voter. It is a Trump movement. It is what he calls it. Although I don't like the again because I think America's great, but it is the MAGA movement. It is the Make America Healthy Again movement. It is a movement, and they are gravitating to the Republican Party, and that's. Does it last? I don't know, but you'll see it in this election.
Are these folks Trump voters or are they Republicans?
I think they're Trump voters. I really do. And, if they continue to vote that way, I don't know. I think that this Senate race, though, has been one of the most interesting, and my eyes are on it on election night because I really do not know. I'll agree with Rod. I really don't know which side wins.
So give me a prediction. Robbie Sauls pull this out? Hold off Nicola?
I think this one is so close that it might be headed for a recount. I do think the money that he was able to accrue, I think he may get over the line.
What happens?
I'm taking Sauls, but I'm taking it by 1-2. I like Jack's prediction of it even having to be a recount.
Roddy did his doors. I used the old Victor Callahan method.
Yeah, but
he lost 20 pounds.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying Robbie did his doors. The other guy did his doors. I mean, doors are great, but when I get those tight races, I like to go back and see where did they raise their money. And if I got some people parachuting money in for me, I mean, it's great. You can buy a race here and there. But if you've got a guy raising money from the district, from the voters in the district, that's usually a little ace in the hole kind of thing that kind of helps you win those wars. I bet Robbie pulls that out.
What do you think?
I think the Republicans are going to pull an upset because I don't think it's going to be affected by money or the candidates. I think that area is like the Pennsylvania union voters that John Fetterman talks about, I think you're going to see a change.
Interesting. Let's talk St. Louis County, where there has been a change. Chesterfield has been trending and drifting more Democratic. Now, Andrew Koenig won by a healthy margin, but the top of the ticket did not do particularly well on the 15th. Now you have Joe Peerless, a Drury Hotels attorney, about as conservative-looking dude as the Democrats could fight against what is a future star in the party in David Gregory. If abortion clips someone, does it clip Gregory?
I think David Gregory is as talented as anybody who's running for office, just extraordinary talent. It's going to be a tough race. I think he pulls it out. But that realignment flipped the other.
I think Chesterfield comes home to Republicans one more time in a state senate race. What do you think? I mean, I
live there, and I've been getting all the mail, and I mean, it's a lot of mail. A little bit more for Gregory than for Peerless there, but I think there's an ace in the hole again in this race. And only maybe because I live there. I don't know if he's been communicating this to everybody. Obviously, I'm on a voter registration list. But what Gregory did in taking that lawsuit against Sam Page in St. Louis County on the property taxes, you know, statewide property taxes may not be a big issue, but you get in these legislative races in those suburbs, especially Kansas City and St. Louis, Jackson, and St. Louis County, I'm telling you that property taxes is huge.
You city people are so weird. You vote for every levy, and then you complain your property taxes are high. Bizarre.
I think that pulls Gregory across the line.
Many people are just odd folks. What do you think? I mean, in St. Louis, you have a very changing political demographic.
Oh, yes.
The Republican Party is simply tanking in St. Louis County, as well as they're doing everywhere else. St. Louis County is the flip side, right? This is going to be tight.
I agree, but I do like what you say of saying that one more time, because I really do believe, and I think the same thing with Senate District 17, one more time. I really do think that it stays Republican in St. Louis County, it stays Democratic out in Independence one more time. So I think both of them are very tight races, could both need recounts, but I think they both do stay where they are.
David Gregory win, that's a big win for the St. Louis County Police Union.
It is, and I think that I can't stand when I have to agree with David Steelman all the time.
We tried not to do that.
Yeah, I know. This is why they put us on opposite ends or whatever.
The show,
but Peerless has run a really, really good race. I'm not sure there's anything he could have done. I do think there may be just a few too many Republicans in a presidential year in this race.
And for one more time, I think.
Yeah.
I think a re-election's different. I think Gregory has a good shot to get reelected. But I do think 8 years from now, the Democrats are going to be the favored person.
Sure, just like they will be in Greene County.
Jerry Nolte, I don't think anybody could have gave Maggie a race but Jerry Nolte. I was there on the ground. I still think Maggie wins, but Jerry Nolte is just Jerry Nolte.
Yeah, Maggie's going to win that race. She's worked really hard. She's done everything right. It's going to be close there, and that's one of those. I mean, it's a real swing district up there or whatever, but she's done a nice job. I do think Amendment 3 being on the ballot there, probably that's the one race where it may help the most. Female candidate.
I think they don't think of Jerry Nolte as a Republican. They think of him as Jerry.
I would agree with that. I still think that Maggie does pull this out. I think it's that one district that maybe hasn't had as much change as we've been talking about the past two, but I still think it's tight, maybe not as tight as Senate District 17 or even Senate District 15. But I think Maggie does win.
All right, David Steelman, you and I have been talking about Donald Trump. We've been a couple of the only people that can consistently say we saw Trump and liked Trump from the beginning.
I like to point out, I tweeted as he was coming down that golden elevator and everybody was making fun of him, that they're all underestimating him.
I became a believer in Holcomb, Missouri, when 3 different people had one car hood they'd spray painted for Trump, they put a 4x8 piece of plywood up, and then one guy had stolen another candidate sign and spray painted Trump for president on it. I'm like, there's something going on here. He has a very special draw to this state.
Well, he does. Plus, again, like him or not, he has remade our party. The Republican Party today is not the blue suit Chamber of Commerce party. Does that last? I don't know. But he has remade the party, and it fits. Remember, Ross Perot got his highest vote in Missouri when Perot won. What Trump's brand and Trump's remaking of the party fits Missouri to a T.
Does he win the national election?
We all in my neighborhood, Trump's going to get 85% of the vote. So it's kind of hard for me to figure out. I think he is because I think he wins Pennsylvania. And let me tell you what I've noticed. Casey, who is in a tough re-election race up there, is running towards Trump, not away from Trump. And when you start seeing the Democrat U.S. Senate candidates start doing that, you think, they may know something I don't. And there is no way Kamala Harris wins without Pennsylvania. That makes me think.
Does he win?
Yeah, I think he wins. I think when we go to bed and we look at all the votes count, he probably wins. My only fear, quite honestly, is mail-in ballot. That's my only fear. I think the momentum's going. When you see senators, not just Casey, others starting to kind of back away.
Well, Montana,
that momentum in Pennsylvania, in Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, maybe not North Carolina, but definitely Georgia. I think he probably ends up winning the Electoral College.
Does he win?
Oh, this is a tough one. I really, really, really don't know this answer. I would have to say, obviously, he's going to win Missouri. No problem here. But I'm a little cautious to say that Trump wins. I could almost see Harris taking it, and so because we have the Trump, I'm going to be the oddball out here and just take the.
I'll give you the reason. If I'm Trump, I'm confident. If I'm a Trump supporter, each time he's ran, the last 2 times, he's overperformed his polling. Sometimes significantly, sometimes just by a chunk. I think he only needs to overperform the polling just a very small margin to win. If I'm a Trump supporter, I like where he's at in the polls compared to where he was at in the polls before Election Day the last 2 times. Jack, what happens?
Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. That's where the race is. That's where Harris is going to win this race. I really do think she's opened up a lead now in Michigan. She's opened up a lead in Wisconsin. Thanks to my son now changes for voting registration, voting up there in that election. So shout out to Ben. But I think it comes down to Pennsylvania, and she's gonna carry the day.
I want to say really quick, I think something that we all realized, though, going into this election, you could have voted Republican for the past 10 years. You could have voted Democrat for the past 10 years. And I think something that we're hearing is people are switching now on this election more than they ever have before. I think that that's something that, we hear from voters as reporters that say, oh, I've voted for Trump for, the past 2 elections. I've voted Republican constantly every ballot. But this year I just can't do it anymore. Same on the other side of the aisle. I would have to say, as a reporter, as somebody that's in those weeds every day talking to voters, I've heard it more this election than any election I've covered.
With a minute left,
more prediction.
We can't. We got a minute left. Who won the week?
Who won the week? The election officials in Missouri, the county clerks, who have made the no excuse absentee voting work without any additional resources under real pressure, and they're making it work. The lines are tremendous.
Who won the week?
Jack Cardetti. When your main opponent goes dark the last week of a campaign, that's a big help. That's a big blow to yourself.
I'm going to go with David here. I think the voters, the fact of how many voters have already gone out, cast their ballot, that's huge. I love to see the voter turnout.
Amazing lines at these early election spots. Who won the week?
The Prop A campaign. One initiative we didn't talk about today, they're flying under the radar. They're going to raise the minimum wage. Organized labor is really behind that. They won the week.
I think he's right. I would say the 2 Supreme Court judges on the ballot, Judge Ginger Gooch and Judge Kelly Broniak, endorsed by the governor. I think there's been a little murmur about their retention, but I think anybody on both sides of the aisle can be very proud to vote both of them back into office in the Supreme Court. And we want to thank you for watching us this entire election cycle. We are very grateful from the bottom of our heart that you've joined us every Sunday morning. Now, next Sunday, we'll start talking about the next election cycle here on This Week in Missouri Politics.
This Week in Missouri Politics is sponsored by the Missouri Automobile Dealers Association, Ameren, Spire, and the United Electric Cooperative.